Welcome to the Evalesco Healthy, Wealthy and Happy podcast. The information provided on and made available through this video and podcast does not constitute as financial product advice. The information is of a general nature only and does not take into account your individual objectives, financial situation or needs. It should not be used, relied upon or treated as a substitute for specific professional advice. We recommend that you obtain your own independent professional advice before making any decisions in relation to your particular requirements or circumstances.
Welcome to the Evalesco Healthy, Wealthy and Happy podcast. My name is Jeff, I'm your host for today, and I'm joined once again by my good mate and business partner Marsh. Welcome back, Marsh.
Thank you for having me.
Today we're going to be talking about who are our clients and what do we do and help them with. But before we get on to that, we always want to touch on the healthy and happy piece. So maybe today, Marsh, given you've answered this question a few times, talk to us about what are some of the initiatives or new things we're doing around happiness in the workplace.
Well, I think this year we've made a couple of changes in the workplace. So for those clients of you that have been here in the last 3 months, you'll notice there's quite a lot of music floating around the office. So we've installed some Sonos speakers. We've got a central hub for that Spotify playlist. So certain team members, based on activity, get to control the playlist, which is a much loved role. So yesterday, there was quite a lot of country and western pumping through the office, which is a little bit different. I found it quite peaceful, actually. And outside of that, we've got a few coffee lovers as well. So we've got a new coffee machine, great aromas from that, very sensory. And I think both of those have added a little bit of a buzz to the workplace, encouraging people to feel good while sitting at their desk. And at a personal level, in terms of what I'll sometimes do, I'll sort of walk around the office and maybe just have a little bit of a chat. And I've got a pretty effective intercom from my desk, which really just sort of carries across the cubicles.
Yeah.
You can imagine.
Yeah, I can certainly vouch for the coffee's good. So if you're booking in your meeting, come in and have a coffee with us, and it's a good coffee.
We're actually consuming a lot more oatmeal. Is it oat milk?
Almond milk is the most popular.
Yeah, that's right. So hardly anyone drinks regular cow milk these days. I think I'm the only one in the office.
Yeah.
So
I've got all your options covered. So other than providing great coffee, let's talk about what else we do for our clients and who we work with and how we help.
Yeah, so I think if I think about the clients that Jenny and I work with directly, it's actually a good example because we've got clients across each of the different segments. So Jenny and I work with about 90 families, and I would say about 2/3 of those would be pre-retirees or retirees. Now, in addition to that, we also have a number of accumulators. So they're investors that might be 35 to 45. Often they're the children of the retirees as well. So we're working across those family groups. And I guess that third segment of the client would be the upper end of the retiree segment, the aged care. So Jenny and I work with investors across those, but the one characteristic that I think each of them has is that whether it was in their professional career when they either had a business or they were working, or they're working now for accumulators, they're all successful, motivated individuals, but they're also in the main delegators. So they're successful in what they do, and they acknowledge and realize that they need some help when it comes to managing their finances. And I think that probably echoes across our business, that we work particularly well with clients and investors that are strong and have got the confidence to say, look, I don't know all about personal finance, I don't know all about superannuation, how to manage assets, but I know how to run my business. Or I'm really good in my role professionally, and I need someone who can execute the other areas with confidence that they just can't do.
Yep. I think it's about solving the complexities, and the complexity is always in the eye of the beholder. So for someone who's an engineer and running their business, and they might not think a lot of what they're doing is complex, but for us to rock up and try to do that would be a bit ridiculous.
Highly complex for us.
Yeah, but for somebody who's been running an engineering business or an architecture business for their whole life and they're looking to retire, the financial side of things, there might be more complexities around that. So that's where we can come in and help them, from a they might be time poor, and there might be complexity, and if we can help them with that sort of stuff, that's where we can add some value.
Definitely. If you think about the breadth of the advice team that we have now, across our business, and you'll know the numbers better than I, but I suspect we probably help 30 families, maybe 40 families retire each year.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be surprised if we help at least 20 people buy their first home. There's probably maybe a dozen or more buy their second home or an investment property. And each of those transactions for the individual, there can be a lot of trepidation, a lot of anxiety if they're managing that on their own. But effectively, in the mortgage area, you've got Christy who's doing that dozens of times every year.
Yep.
She's not doing it once a year, she's doing it dozens of times. Mel's helping her clients and our collective clients with aged care strategies dozens of times every year. It's not just a one-off, I've got to really bone up on this aged care strategy. She lives and breathes it.
Yep.
Hong's working with successful professionals that, 40 to 50 years of age, they've got, tremendous capacity to grow their assets. And often they've got a lot of assets in their business, but they don't know how to diversify that. So whilst a business owner might be struggling with the questions, what should I do? Hong's already answered that question for 24 clients this year.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's great, we've talked about this previously, there's access to information is not a challenge these days, is it? Like,
No.
Everything that we know, you probably Google it and find it or put it in ChatGPT and get the answers to a lot of those questions. But then it's how does that apply to you specifically, and then how do you action that information? Because the information's out there, but it's putting that into practice, which is often a challenge. And that's where, as you said, we've you and I have helped hundreds of people retire over the years, but most people only do it once.
Correct.
So it's about pulling that information together into a practical, usable strategy and going and implementing it.
Yeah, and from our viewpoint, the strategies that we put in place, and I had Jenny and I went out for lunch yesterday actually with some clients, and it was a really great experience because we've worked with this couple for 5 years, and the husband said over lunch, he said, look, it's been a really successful relationship. I must admit at the start of it, there was a sense of sort of trepidation or anxiety. I was a little bit worried because they had a lot of cash, and it was a real leap of faith, both in terms of working with an advice team, but also sort of handing over the keys to their retirement to say, look, can you implement this for us? I don't want to, they hadn't been able to pull the trigger on that for several years. So for him to say, look, I need some help. Now, fast forward to today, it's been a really successful relationship that we've delivered some really great outcomes for them. And that's because that's in our DNA. That's what we do for our clients all day, every day. They were faced with this proposition of, this is the first and only time they're going to retire. What do you do?
Yeah.
So whatever it is you put in place has to be repeatable. And it's funny, sometimes a client might think, well, it's actually running so smoothly. What is it that your team are actually doing? Well, it often runs after a period of time without friction because of all the work that kind of gets done in the engine room, and the clients don't see that.
Yeah.
And that's intentional because we want our clients to enjoy their lives and not worry about that.
Yeah. It's very much about passing that worry over to us, isn't it? So people, even in retirement, you might not think about being time poor, but it's about having the time to do the things that you want to do, as opposed to having to worry about your money.
Spot on. I'll give you one example. If we go back sort of 5 years ago, we weren't as firm on this as we are today in supporting our retirees that might have their own self-managed super fund. Often there'll be this element, I want to maintain my independence and sense of control. I want to have our own working cash account that your team can't see. And fast forward today, every single client that we work with has a specific cash account that our team and the accountants can see, so there's transparency. We can make it less likely mistakes happen. We can manage their cash flow. And now our clients see it. They understand why we've done that. Whereas previously it was quite clunky. You'd have to transfer money, verify it was there. There was no security protocols. And so the framework that we've created is there to support our clients on their journey.
Yeah, and that's very much individualised and personalised. Everyone's journey is different.
Yes.
There's certain building blocks that we can use and we can roll out consistently. And even though everyone's journey is different, having done it 100 times, you know there's probably one that is a little bit like we've seen before, and you can take some learnings out of that, which is helpful in making life a bit easier for those that we're working with. That's great. I think that's a good place to wrap up. Thanks for sharing that, Marsh. If you think you would like some help in any of those areas that Marsh has outlined, whether you're a wealth accumulator earning big money and not sure about what to do next, whether you're thinking about retirement or you're in retirement and want to take a little bit of stress off your own plate, then please get in touch. We'd love to help you work through that. In the meantime, have a healthy, wealthy and happy day.
Thanks for tuning in to the Evalesco Healthy, Wealthy and Happy podcast. If you would like to learn more about anything you've heard in this episode, please give us a call on 02 9232 6800 or email admin@evalesco.com.au. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more Evalesco podcast episodes and stay up to date by following us on Instagram and Facebook.